Hello, everybody. Well, it is warming up here in Georgia, and hey, we've been doing so much content here lately. Of course, the emails have been picking up again because we're a little bit more active, and that's pretty awesome. And I always love to answer the emails on camera as opposed just into another email. And I got a cool one today. This is from Seahorse Will Travel. Good afternoon, Trenton. My name is Seahorse Will Travel. I live in Central Kentucky, and I'm writing to you today not to eat up your busy schedule or time, but to inquire about a tool or even new tools of my new job. So it looks like that Seahorse Will Travel ended up like many people are suffering today and got laid off of his job, but managed to find a new job at an awesome place. He actually got a job at a cooperage. Now that's where they actually build the barrels. And since he's in Kentucky, I bet you that whiskey is going in those barrels. But he said he got into the production line. He was given a set of hand-me-down tools that were pretty much worn out. And he says he really started looking at them and wanted to know if he could make his own tools or even improve upon them. The tool that he needs is an iron hoop driver. And since I was somebody who liked the historical topics and old tools, wanted to know if I could put or add any input to help him out on his quest. So, absolutely, man, how awesome. I would take a job in a cooperage shop, especially a place so iconic as Kentucky. That's something to put on your resume, made whiskey barrels in Kentucky. That's just freaking awesome. So as far as the tool itself, if you guys don't know what an iron hoop driver is, so if you've never seen the process of making these barrels, it's pretty awesome. Now it's heavily, it's heavily mechanized, but it's still super awesome. There's a lot of handwork that's involved. So when they make the staves of the barrel, that's the slats on the side, they're not flat like this. They're almost in an oval. That's how they crimp them down into almost like the petals of a flower when they bring them together. When that happens, you have to drive that iron hoop down around it. Well, the iron hoop's relatively thin, so how do you smack it down? Well, the iron hoop driver is a piece of metal, usually about this long, sometimes a little bit longer, about 1 inch in diameter, and the end is flared, and it has a little catch on it. It's got a groove that's been filed into it, so that when you put this on there, it will actually slide against the hoop, and it will catch the lip of the hoop, and that gives you something to hammer on so that you can hammer the hoop down tightly around the staves of the barrel. Now, clearly, because it's going to be something that's going to be inclined to slip, it's going to wear, and once that nice square edge wears, it's not going to want to stay on top of that hoop, and you've got a worn out tool. So the thing is absolutely these things can be repaired. You can even make your own, but since you were given a pair of hand-me-down tools, I would tell you the best thing that you can do is actually learn to repair that tool or dress it. So any type of production work is going to require the dressing of your tools. And that's where I would start. Before I just kind of busted off and tried to make a brand new one, I would learn to actually dress my old ones. Now, of course, there's got to be some old timers there that can show you with a file how to actually clean that up and make it stick a little bit better. Once you've done that, then if you really want to get after it, then you can attempt to make it out of a better type of steel. But I'm going to tell you something. It's going to be very difficult to improve upon a tool that's been around for 800 years or so. You may get better materials, but you're not necessarily going to get a better tool. I've told this story a couple of times before, and I'm not sure if I've ever told it here, but let me explain to you what I mean. So Jay Riekert, the guy that taught me, we were working on a wagon wheel in Andersonville. And this wagon wheel, we were trying to take it apart, and it has these basically these countersunk bolts that go through the metal tire, and it bolts on the inside of the wooden rim. So when we tried to unscrew this, the bolt in the top would just spin. Now it's slotted for a flathead screwdriver, but you could not hold that joker tight enough because it was pretty well rusted. So we came up with say, look, we've got to really be able to apply some pressure to the top of this screw to solve this. So we made a pair of tongs that had a fork on the bottom and had a screwdriver on the top. So what would happen is you'd reach under, grab the wagon wheel, and when you close those tongs, it would force the head of the screwdriver down into the slot, and you could put a lot of force, and we undid the nut. We were absolutely geniuses. We pat ourselves on the back. Look at the ingenuity. Look at what awesome blacksmiths we are. And about a week later, I was cleaning some of our old tools. We had a collection of older tongs. And I got to looking in there, and I found another pair of these tongs. And I said, Jay, who did you make these other tongs for? I mean, somebody come in and order a set, and you just wanted an extra set? And he said, I didn't make another set. And I said, well, of course you did. There's another set out here in the old tool rack. So we went out there and looked at it, and what it is the fact that the tongs that we invented, there was actually an original pair that was in our collection that we just didn't know what it was or what it was before. So I'm going to tell you, it's very difficult to improve upon tools that have been around and been in working production for a couple of hundred years. So you might be able to make them out of a better material, but man, it's going to be tough to make them better tools. So I hope that answers a bit of your question. Thank you guys so much for watching the videos and supporting everything. Keep the emails coming. You guys be good. And I gotta show you, just real quick, I gotta do some editing magic. Check this out. We've been in the shop today. I had to do something quick for a client, but let's see if I can do some magic editing. And boom, there we go. That's what we're playing with today. Not gonna film this one yet because this is practice, but we're busy in the shop. Anyway, you guys be good. Vámonos. Hola. Yeah, see ya.